fake tap, the dummy tap.
Nonsense.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. They're not happy with it. Giving it all away.
But they were so big, I thought they were the boss.
Yeah, well, there it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not Paul de Villiers. I think like he had it.
I back you, Paul. I back you. Jordan, what were you thinking?
Bro, like seriously, dude.
It's also try. It sounds like you throwing out a gauntlet of a challenger.
I absolutely am. I could see what Steve's score was. It's exactly the same.
Welcome back to another episode of The Mad Show. Rugby's greatest rivalry really ramping up. 3 from 3 from the All Blacks. A big defeat. We were recording this night after the Bulls game last night. And we're moving into test week, so it's really getting quite exciting. Mr. Hartman.
Hello, Stephen.
You well?
Much better. Pleased to report to the people. I know there was comments flooding in, checking on my health. There were none. Thanks, guys. Not malaria.
Not malaria.
Just
good.
not used to the Joburg grit and smog and smoke and just
Got to toughen up a bit.
Just got to toughen up a bit. Some cement if you have, that would be great.
Correct. Teaspoon and the works for that. Speaking of people who need to toughen up, but also toughen up to a certain degree, an interesting game last night.
Sure.
Morning after, the initial reaction I think was quite interesting, but I feel like the game at 50 points to 19 was a blowout to a certain degree, but I think looking at especially what some of the highlights, the second half was a bit better, but there were some big collisions last night. I think that was probably the best part about it. We're starting to really see some of the physicality come out. And going into test week, got a bit of a buzz about things, don't we?
No, absolutely. No, cannot wait for that physicality level, which is just going to ramp up to that next level.
Yeah, Marcel Gutsia, by the way. Shout out to him and John Rudolph, a couple of the big boys getting involved. But yeah, just going into the week, I mean, how do we block fans before we really get into the breakdown? How do we get through the next 5 days of stress? Any recommendations here?
I think
herbal
just
tea or
Sister Patina on repeat, and getting louder and louder as we go through. That'd probably get everyone really vibed. The Brunners, naturally, get that ready, sneak it into your water bottles. I don't know, what's your go-to for Bok Week prep?
Your Bok Week prep, I mean, for us when we're in camp, it's pretty balls to the wall. So yeah, I think the Brunners will have to come out. I've got a good stash. I'll have to go raid Dion Farie's cabinet to get things through. And lots of biltong. That's my big thing. I'm going to have to go and
stress eating the
and I'm a stress eater. So every now and again, I get a little like a meat platter from the family if they're visiting and watching the game on my side, and that's consumed before kickoff every time because I'm just sitting there like every time we go, oh, let's go into the team.
Yeah.
So this week's going to be much the same, but. A very cool show coming up over here. No guest, unfortunately, and this week we thought we'd just do the two of us and fly through a bit of test week, but we're going to have a lot of fun because coming up in the Maul, we're going to be doing a combined 15 Springboks versus All Blacks, and the question is, how many All Blacks players can we squeeze into our Bok-dominated side, which I'm sure it will be. But let's get into the breakdown and have a look at the last few days and the last week of rugby, shall we? Right, Wes. The franchise leg, we start of it, which is obviously still got the Lions game, is over. We're moving into test week, but last night 50 points to 19, 24-0 at half time. Yeah. So
it wasn't looking good.
No, it wasn't looking good. No. And frustrating because the Bulls had a disallowed try. Harno Liebenberg robbed of a chip, a grabber head and chase down.
Amazing.
I mean, it would have been the slowest chase down, between him and Fabian Holland. I mean, when we talk about you want to put I'm not saying that they're regular because they're incredible athletes, but how we talk about wanting to put a reference point in the Olympics?
Yes, just to see.
It felt a bit like that. You're just two big forwards, slow-mo, desperately trying to get back there. Fabian Holland losing his footing, Liebenberg getting there, and all for that to be chalked off. Heartbreaking.
No, it's tough. The boys put in the effort, that sprint, can you imagine? And then for it to be nothing, was disappointing.
Yeah, because forwards are very... energy efficient.
I was going to say careful now.
They're energy efficient. If I don't have to run, I'm not going to run. That's why if you look at the whole France game plan a few years ago when they were busy kicking over and Nuno Antonio basically just parked a squat and just, you guys let me know when you need me to scrum, otherwise you guys carry on.
Work smart, not hard, Steve.
Literally, literally. And that's what I'm trying to say, the forwards are smart people. Second half, however, much better. I think the score in the end, 26-19 in terms of the second half score. Bulls throwing a few punches, a couple of soft tries being conceded. Before we start talking about the All Blacks, Bulls players who stood out last night for you?
Jeez. I think it was tough because the coach was talking about it being pre-season and only a 3-week break and what. So there were, I don't know if you see them as excuses or reasons, like it's depending on which side of the fence you fall on.
And it's annoying because we've known about, obviously everybody's saying we've known about the tour.
Yeah.
But the reality is the rugby calendar is horrendously full.
Yeah.
And the Bulls, and I didn't enjoy Jan Ackerman because they basically said, the Sharks are a similar boat. He says, well, I'm not sure why their preseason was so short, seeing as they didn't make the playoffs. I was like, a little bit of spice in there, because they did finish their rugby basically end of May, but the Bulls did go all the way to the URC finals. So by the time you have 3 weeks off and then get back into camp, and you regulated, you have to give these players 5 weeks off a year.
Sure.
And so to find that window, when you don't know, if you didn't have this, it becomes a bit easier because that 5 weeks window, you'd probably be getting back into camp beginning of August. You've got a full month and then basically a full September. So, I mean, it's not excuses, but I think it's reality of where we are. But it's definitely a Bull side that aren't anywhere near in their season compared to the All Blacks who've had a full Super Rugby but have not gone on that break. Yeah. They've just gone from straight there into camp, much like the Boks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And 2 franchise games before, you can say about the changes, because there were quite a few changes this week, right, against the Bulls from the team that played the Sharks. Right?
Yeah.
Quite a mix up there.
Yeah, I think, the All Blacks are basically got their touring team, inverted commas, and kind of a bit of their test side. So a bit of a different team, probably more their touring team last night. And a lot of New Zealand fans, not all, because I'm getting a bit of heat, but some of them were sort of saying we were all very confident about this Bulls side. And I'll still maintain...
Some more than others, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, I still maintain it was a reasonable Bulls side. I think the main thing last night is we saw that test match rugby is a different level.
Agreed.
And I think that you look at Moscot's performance, he's got 30-odd tests. I mean, let's not go to Billy LaRue's performance, not his greatest game. But Marcel showed that there are the levels. And that's the thing, the biggest problem is that if you had 50 Marcel Concert type performances yesterday, or Jean Rudolph, or Jean Als when he came out, I thought was also very impressive. It becomes a far more competitive game, but there is also a level above it. But that's also the great thing about this tour, because the JF Van Heerden, I think he's got Springbok written all over him. I thought, shame, he missed a tackle which conceded a try, but I thought Kaleko Letabile, when he came on, looked bright, was happy to run into contact and have some good moments. So it's not great from a results point of view, but there was a lot of learnings, and I still think the experience some of these young players are going to get, because there was definitely a step up from, I'm not even going to Currie Cup, even URC level.
No, 100%, and that I remember, like, again, and my experience is so limited compared to what these guys will go, but I remember that step from a high school to then a competitive university professional setup, like a competitive, and this again in the States, asterisks there, sorry boys out there, but it was still a step up from high school to university, and then within the university set up to then the All-American side, so that's like the national junior USA side, and then we scrimmaged against the USA men's, and it was just the step and step and step, and that's all within like a young rugby nation. I can only imagine the steps from established nations like South Africa and New Zealand, and there's just that level and it's that intensity, I think, which is played, and that I think we saw last night, as you said.
Yeah, and the All Blacks really getting into their full flow, which is, I mean, some of the almost tries as well were but the offload game seems to be very back. People are now getting a bit worried about the Boks, but we'll talk about that a bit later. But 142 points to 40 points in the South African franchise, not really the results you would have liked to have seen. I think it's frustrating to have not had a bit of a better showing. I think the Stormers obviously did put in a reasonable performance, but it wasn't exactly where we wanted it to be. But now we're moving into Test week. Now all that's been put out, and I think, again, not all, but a lot of New Zealand fans have also been saying on some of the comments that they're all very aware that the Boks are a different beast. Yeah. And I think what people, and it's a weird, interesting sort of psychological thing, but Boks in a Boks shirt as well. Yeah. Within whether it's the system, whether it's the occasion, whether it's the Rassie pre-match talk, whether it's being scared of Don Human.
All the above.
Everything goes into that, and they do. I mean, that's Jim Hamilton said that he's watched Bowen Fenter a lot for Edinburgh, and he said that game he had against Scotland, he said he's just never seen him in that kind of thing. Yeah. So it is a lift above.
No, definitely. So, it's like an emergent property, right? Greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah. So now we're going into Test week. We've got so much to talk about. Obviously, by the time this comes out, with Rassie, the team will likely have been announced. But Sili Kolisi, obviously, injury question mark. Deon Free, 39 years old, could become the oldest Springbok if he plays.
Exciting.
A lot of players left back in camp. The main thing is, do we think that those 3 All Blacks performances will have tweaked anything within the Bok camp? And do you think Rusty's watched anything and said, oh, maybe I need to go this direction? Or do you think we're pretty much, the plan is still a plan?
Jeez, it's my worst thing to try and predict what Rassie Erasmus is thinking.
Yeah, well,
I think for anyone.
Yeah,
like
no.
to get into that mind. I think more or less, I don't think the All Blacks have shown us anything that we weren't expecting to see from them. And especially under Dave Rennie, we've seen they're looking like a much stronger All Black side, right, compared to under Razor. So I think there will be, if anything, more respect and the need for the guys to stick to the system more. We know the system works. We've won 2 World Cups with it. We've got really a good winning success record. So no, I don't think anything would have changed massively. Player selection, again, Argentina, we spoke about some of the players that shone and some of those that didn't, so potentially some combinations there, which I suppose can influence kind of our strategy. I do like the thought that we're kind of playing a bit of mind games with actually, we saw how Argentina were able to diffuse the high game a little bit, but maybe that's not going to be the game. Was it, I think one of the World Cup, I think it was the most recent World Cup, was it the semi or the quarter against England, right, where Faf was just bombing kicks in the warm-up, right? Like huge.
2019, they sent them out.
Yes.
It was the final. They sent them out early.
That's it, and just kicks, and then we just almost didn't kick the whole game. So is there a bit of that happening again, which could be exciting? But no, I think. What are your thoughts on this game plan? Do you think New Zealand's shown us anything where we would have to adapt, or?
I mean, I think that in many ways, again, we know characteristically the All Blacks are a fast-paced side. The handling's good. I think that they've got some really, really nice players coming through. I think what I've been very impressed with is I always talk about the fact that some of your 2 most important positions are your 2 locks, and they lost Brody Retallick and they lost Sam Whitelock, and there's no Scott Barrett. Yes. So they've lost 3 massive locks in the last couple of years. Obviously, Scott Barrett's just injured at the moment, but I've been very impressed with the stock of locks coming through. I mean, Patrick Tupelotu, a great player, but Fabian Holland's a good player. Josh Lord, I think, is a very good player. So I think I've been impressed with the physical players that they're starting to bring. I mean, Anton Sejner, the German, of all nations coming through. So I think that we're seeing the slickness of the hands, but I don't think we must underappreciate that they're starting to bring a physicality back to them. I mean, Tamatava Nawe looks like an absolute shit brick house to bring down. Asafa Amur, there's some very large players in this. So I don't want to just dive into the whole, they're just amazing hands, stuff like that. They are some big boys. And I think the clashes we're going to see are going to be seismic.
No, huge. But I think it's because watching that Bulls game, we saw the slick hands coming from the big men, right? I think it was the number 4, I forget the name, but it's beautiful out the back, and then allowing, was it Codie Taylor in for a second try? Everyone looked like they wanted to offload, right? When they went to ground, they were looking to that offload. And so it is that dual threat now of the big physical bruising tackles paired with the silky smooth offloads and
but isn't that just the modern game at the moment? I mean, we are seeing, I was at the captain's run, and I mean the All Blacks players, some of the forwards are receiving a kick and then just kicking it back, and I watched I think it was actually one of the locks, and he just casually just pinged it straight back to the flower, like into his hands, and I was like, that's quite an underappreciated bit of skill that we've just seen there. But I mean, even Jordie Rudolph yesterday chipping ahead and chasing himself. But I think the forwards these days are very underappreciated in terms of the skill set they possess. I mean, when Rassie Erasmus was asked what he saw in Asnat and Clavicania, I'll never forget it. The first thing he said, we think he's got really good touch. And I was like, to describe a tight head as someone who's got good touch was so, especially in a Bok context, especially if anyone's seen the size of Asnat, but he does. He's incredible hands and feel for the game. I think that's also an interesting part. It's the intelligence as well. And that's where Jordie Rudolph has become such an important player. He just reads the game so well.
No, that's key. If you can almost be 3 plays ahead of what's happening or know where you need to be in 3 plays and get there, kind of front load your work.
Even Etzebeth, I think it's underappreciated. Obviously, he's the enforcer and this. But in the last 2 years, look at his work he's done it on charging down, his work on kick retention.
The ball's out, he's always at the more watching.
Yes, reference is out. Yeah, exactly. So it's so minimalistic to speak about. Oh, he's big, ruling big. But no, it's so much more than that. I mean, Archie Snyman led the way with the offloads. He brought Sonny Bill Williams' skill set into a 7-foot, 125 kg frame.
Viking. No, and I think it's because the game has gotten more competitive, the margins have gotten smaller. So, to differentiate yourself as a player individually from your peers within your country and then, internationally against other nations, you have to, the player is evolving, and I know we've not spoken about him since the English were here, but Henry Pollock, if you look at that kind of a player, the hybrid players, but actually he is a forward, right? But he's got the skills,
and the pace as well.
Pace. So to really kind of have that toolkit, that Swiss Army knife or the Leatherman, I think sets you apart for selectors.
Look at Zach Walton.
Yeah, well,
I mean, again, core thing is, can you scrum?
Yeah.
And that's why I was speaking to my mate who is a tight end and played at a reasonably high level and coach, and there's a lot of coaching. He said he's not entirely sure whether he'll stay at tight end, but again, skill set, the ball carrying, he's got a bit of a point of difference. Same as Jan-Hendrik Wessels. There's a reason why Rassie, even when the Bulls weren't picking him, said there's a player here because he saw long term that things are changing. Before we get into the next segment, I just want to ask a bit of a contentious point last night. Codie Taylor's fake tap, the dummy tap.
Nonsense.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. They're not happy with, and legally, checked it, legally it's all right. Do we think this might become a law clarification from World Rugby?
I hope it does. I mean, I think, like, for example, nines are no longer allowed to fake out the back of the ruck, right? Because it gets the players offside, the defenders, and then they're offside and they get the penalty. So that's, I hate the phrase in the spirit of the game, but you know what I mean? Look, fair play, because to be honest, I'm trying to think if it was us doing it and there was no legal rules against it. We'd be like, oh, well, it's within the rules and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not mad at Codie Taylor for doing it. I don't even know if it was intentional. Maybe it was, if it was very smart play.
Yeah, I mean, he did dust them.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Paul John Els was taking a step back when Codie Taylor was here and you're going, oh, hang on, it's too late now.
So maybe they've spotted something, because again, like, just, we need to be fair. If this was, something the Springboks had done, we would be like, oh, Rassie's brilliant, he's found this here. So again, fair play. But I do think if we want there to be competition, fair competition from a tap to your defence, that sort of contact,
the hooker
can't balk, then like there's basically no dummies in rugby except when you've got the ball in live play and you're trying to sell someone with your skill. So yeah, I think it should be clarified.
Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting one because it was. I mean, it said it was very well done if that was the plan, and it did completely give them no chance of the contest. And that, I think, will be an interesting discussion, because at the end of the day, that always is the reason behind it. Does it take away from the contest? Does it? And I think that last night, and now if that's an adaptation, inverted commas, and the box would have loved the fact that it did happen, because now it's okay. Would watch for the fake tap, because that might happen. Watch that until that ball moves. It's the same thing as the ball having to leave the hands. For example, if you drop it onto your foot, you have to drop it. You can't just and off you go.
So then I wonder, the question about it being intentional, because we probably would have, again, if it had been intentional, if it was a Rassie thing, I wonder if he would have saved that for that first test, right? Rassie's often pulled out tricks like against a proper opposition, not in the warm-up games. So that's why I kind of think, was it intentional? Or were they better off holding that against the box and squeezing it out when that opportunity was there?
Have they shown their hand to first time? Has Dave Rennie maybe showed his hand where he shouldn't have?
That's it. And I think potentially, if it was intentional, if it was an accident, they maybe cleared on to something.
Codie Taylor's in the sheds at the moment, getting absolutely berated about, what are you idiot? That was supposed to be for the first test. You've just given it all away.
But they were so big, I thought they were the box.
Well, there it is. Right, let's move on to the next section, which is the Maul. Right, Wes, strap yourself in, because we're going to get contentious here. We need to put in together a combined 15, which a year ago would have been box 1 through to 15, and can we have basically 4 loose forwards so we can slot an RD? It's generally been where we've been at with the All Blacks. These days, I think the All Blacks definitely have got some very, very good players coming through. And I think what's also interesting is obviously we're also not entirely sure who our number 1 players, in inverted commas, are going to be. So we're going to build 1 through to 15.
Okay.
Let's start with the front row. And the reason I'm going to start with the front row, because it's very easy. It's going to be a block front row.
So no shout for Ethan de Groot.
No
shout for Codie Taylor.
I'll tell you, the only shout that the Ethan de Groot is the fact that the Oxenchair is injured.
Okay.
So we can have a half conversation about an Ethan de Groot just because Ox is injured. Right. Because if he was fit...
Yeah, no question. No, that's no question. Okay, so Steve, then why don't you kick us off? Who's in at number 1?
Well, we'll put Ethan de Groot. The biggest problem again is I don't know who the Boks are going to actually have. Is it going to be Bones, Venter, is it going to be Gerard Stennekamp? where we're going to go with our loose head option. I'm going to throw out a peace offering to the All Blacks, and I'll give them Ethan de Groot.
Okay, how generous of you.
I think it is quite generous. So I'm going to give Ethan de Groot.
Okay, he's got the number 1 spot.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a massive disclaimer, because we are going to put this out on social media. Massive disclaimer due to Ox injury.
Yes.
Okay, number 2, the World Player of the Year is going in.
Yeah,
surely.
well, this is it. So I was thinking, because currently we haven't seen much of Malcolm, obviously, in the last couple of weeks. I say that since, the Nations Championship. So I was actually thinking, and Codie Taylor had a really good performance last night, but then I remembered Malcolm exists.
Yes.
Look,
it's stuck a while, and I said Safa was a nice player, but Malcolm, for me, into 2. So Malcolm into 2 over there. And then 3, tight head. Well, you've got options over here. Carly Sardi's announced himself, but you've got Wilco Lowe, you've got Zach Porthen, Tyrell Lomax made a comeback last night. I think he's definitely the All Blacks' best tight head. Your pick a tight head, Joe?
Where's Thomas in this conversation?
Well, that's. I was interested. I hope you're going to bring him, because that's what I was going to go with Thomas.
Yeah. So I think he's probably, again, as you said, Carlos Sardi had an absolute massive performance against the Welsh, but hasn't really shown much since, so hasn't had the opportunity to.
Yeah.
So I think more from a form and consistency, I think we've got to go Thomas on that one.
Yeah, and he scores trials for fun. So shout out Thomas. Right, now I think this starts to get a bit more contentious. In the number 4 jersey, Eben obviously hasn't played a lot of rugby, was better against Argentina. Fabian Holland also had a nice game last night. Any nominations for you in the number 4
obviously
jersey?
The instinctual gut reaction is to put Eben in there. 140 odd tests, but are we picking him on prime Eben and maybe not necessarily current Eben? Because I don't think current Eben is prime Eben. You know what I mean?
Rassi actually said during the RT, he reminded us of the old Eben, so I'm hoping that's signs of things to come.
Shit.
Well, if you're not going to go with Eben, you've got to give me a candidate. I would be happy to put in Eben personally.
No, I'm not going to be unhappy, but yeah. So okay, fine, Eben on that one.
So we're going to put in Eben, and then number 5. Now this becomes a contentious one, because you've got Rowan Nokia, who's playing brilliant rugby.
Such an engine.
Lurt de Jager looked a bit better, obviously coming back. Franco Most is currently injured. He kind of flips around there, but I think Patrick Tupolotto is a lot to be said about him, the number 5 jersey. I think that I've enjoyed what I've seen from Josh Lord. I think that the locks in general, even Sam Derry, nice player. No Scott Barrett. But I personally still think, I think for me it's Tupolotto. You could also put Tupolotto into the loose forwards, but it's him or Nokia, I think.
Unfortunately, again, and we know the algorithm loves dissonance, but those were my 2 picks. Nokia, just because the engine he has, he's all over the park always. What he brings to the lineouts, we've seen our lineouts with him and without him, and they are categorically better with him. But I do think Tupolotto brings something into that setup as well.
Okay, so
I think we've got to go Tupolotto here.
Happy. So Pat goes, and you look at us being unbiased. We've got a tight 5, and it's only 3-2 to the box so far. I think it's impressive. Loose chair, right. Well, we're going to consider Sia Khaleesi injured at this stage, I think. Okay. Just because it makes us easier.
Yeah, it does.
Because the number 7 jersey is going to Pieter-Steph du Toit. We're not going to even talk about that. And the number 8 jersey is going to go to Jasper Wiese. And again, I'm not having a conversation.
There's no conversation there.
There's no conversation.
Wallace Titi.
No.
Or who was the youngster in the 8 jersey last night?
Peter Lakai.
Yeah.
He's playing nicely. Anton Sejan is also coming through, but Pieter-Steph du Toit is Pieter-Steph du Toit. And I still think, and again, we obviously have a bit of a different numbering system, because in the 6 jersey, it's actually, for me, you could have Artie there or Paul de Villiers. And why is it Paul de Villiers?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not Paul de Villiers. I think he had.
I back you, Paul. I back you.
No,
it's Dion Free.
That's
who really is going into you.
No, shit. I think you've got to go Artie. Again, if we're trying to be non-biased and stuff, Artie is a phenomenal player. Yeah, I know.
And he's just such a cool guy.
Boo me in the comments. And
he's too likable.
Yeah.
Damn it, Artie, stop being so likable. Yeah. You've now gotten 3. We've got 3 All Blacks in our pack. We're not off to a good start, Joe Wes.
No.
Right. And unfortunately, in terms of keeping All Blacks players, he's not fit at the moment, so a contentious one. I mean, I think Grant Williams is... top 3 best scrum halves in the world. I do think on form right now, Cam Roygaard is a different beast at the moment.
Yeah, no, he's looking really on form. It's interesting. I mean, Grant Williams, I'm a huge fan of Williams. I thought Kobus Reinach, but I think maybe that's because maybe for combinations things with Sasha. So on the standalone, maybe Grant just the pace. I mean, they both blitz though. But no, Cam is looking dangerous.
He is a player who I think if he's not available this weekend is arguably one of the biggest blows.
Yeah.
Him not being fit, I think I've been going, oh, that could be a potential big miss. So
we're putting in Cam at 9.
Yeah, I think we have to put it as
what has happened?
I know. This is a disaster.
Should we take off that jumper? I don't know what's going on.
We're gonna get pulled apart here. Well, the next thing over here is this is where the All Blacks can come at me. Ruben Love looks like he is really settling in. Looks a really nice player. Impressed. Proud of him.
But
my Leibach's going to 10, and I will not budge on this one.
So I agree. There's no Love wasn't getting in there for me, and I think.
Oh, you're between Sasha and Mani.
Sasha, Mani, Hondre.
Yakin Ahmed.
All right. But I thought Hondre coming on in Argentina, like the whole game, the whole first half, I was in the classic thing, shouting at the TV, like, look at the space in behind, turn them, like, put them back. Hondre came on and started turning them, and we started getting that momentum. But Mani does seem to have a way against the All Blacks. So if we're picking, a 10.
Yeah, Wellington, that's all I've got to say. Wellington last year. My man.
So Mani at 10.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I back the boy.
Okay.
I back the lad.
We're backing the boy.
Right. Wings are contentious because Ches and Kolbe and Will Jordan often wear the same number. So we can cop out and put one 11, 14.
I think we shouldn't cop out and we should choose one of those two.
I think so as well. I like that. I like let's be contentious about this.
Yeah.
So number 11 candidates, Codie Taylor, from a Bok point of view, Ethan Hooker, has always played 11 a lot. The All Blacks, well, they're running through wings at the moment. Caleb Clark has returned. So I'm interested to sort of see who's going to start at wing for them. It's an interesting cameos across obviously Leroy Carter. Josh Morby scored 2 last night. You've got Tabataba'a Nawe more in sort of the centres, but and you've got Narawa. But any number 11s that are going to dethrone.
No,
Clark.
None of the names that you said there from the All Black perspective really scared me, and I think that's why it makes it Codie Taylor. Like, it's an easy pick for me there. Ethan is a fantastic young player, and he's coming to his own. He brings that tallness, the physicality. But again, I think Codie's pace, the step, his engine as well, just getting across the park on offense and defense. Yeah, so for me, it's Codie.
Right, this I think is probably the hardest pick.
Yeah,
is 12. I think Jordie Barrett is playing some great rugby, which is weird because I wasn't a massive fan. When they moved him to 12 originally, I thought that makes a lot of sense. Then there was times where I was like, not entirely sure this is the thing. At the moment, he's playing really, really well.
I think his system had to recalibrate after getting hit so hard by Peter Steph Toy. Do you know what I mean?
He's back onto the front foot.
Just in time to be hit again.
Yeah, there we go. We go. However, the criminal disrespect on Damien Allende's name needs to end. And I hear Andre Esterhuizen, back here Andre, playing number 23, hybrid role this weekend. But I still think on my day, I am picking, for what he does, that's output, I would probably still pick Damien Allende. Although I think it is an embarrassment of riches to have those two up against each other, because that is I think that's one of the most exciting clashes this weekend. No,
agreed. I'm with you. I think I've said this before on the podcast, or if not in our chats, but at the beginning of Damien, when he first came on, I couldn't understand. I didn't like him, I didn't get it, and then just over time, he's just proved me wrong, and I've had to eat humble pie. And I think he is one of the key players in our setup, and has been for a long time. Again, his engine, the work rate, he gets over the gain line.
I think he was the first hybrid player, not officially though. In terms of, if you look at his stats, the amount of rucks he hits, the carries, and the carries in the close quarters. That's why, like for example, I wasn't having about Visa, Jasper Visa, because in the close quarters, his carrying is immense. So Damien Delaney is going at 12. 13, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's Creel.
So we're having no All Blacks in the back.
Well,
no
Proctor's gone home.
Okay.
Antonina Brown switched between 12 13, also not entirely sure. Rico Wani wasn't the wing back, as I said. I'm not even sure the All Blacks know who their best 13 is. So I'm not having it. It's Creel.
Fuck yeah. No, we
can chat about Moody if you want.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking Moody. No, I think it is Creel. I think, and again, that combination. I think the tricky thing here is we spoke about it before, where the emergent properties being better than the sum of your parts, certain players and combinations together just are unstoppable. And that Damien Creel combination is such a good one.
The hardest one. The All Blacks all-time top try scorer, Will Jordan, versus Cheslin Kolbe.
One of the greatest wings to ever play the game. I mean, both of them, arguably.
Yes. I mean, those two are generally going to be in GOAT conversations. Like, best players to ever play the game, I think.
All right. Take nothing away from Will Jordan, but has he scored the amount of tries he's scored because he's playing in an All Black team that sets him up for those tries? There's no doubt he's scored some brilliant individual tries and finishes his wings. He's got good pace. But I think if you put a Kolbe and a Jordan and face them against, let's say, 4 players and said, right, you've got to score, I back Kolbe to make that try 10 times out of 10. Whereas Jordan, I'm not so sure. I think he is so good because of the team. It's like a Wayne Rooney, brilliant footballer, but shone because of the team that he was in at the time, in his own right.
Careful, that's my favorite footballer, so we don't want to go down that route.
I said he was a good footballer, but do you know what I mean? He was lifted up because of that team. So I think it's something similar here. And that being said, on a pure merit, my choice is with Kolbe.
Yeah, I'm going with Kolbe as well. And that's, again, I mean, it's a tough decision to make. I just think Kolbe has got so much more in terms of, I mean, he's a goal kicking option apparently these days as well. But I do think that in terms of a 1-1 X factor, I think if you put the highlight reels, you know, and I said this last year, and it was a bit of contention. I said, you know, I said Will Jordan's a great player. I said, but I don't find him a very memorable player. I don't think of, do you remember when Will Jordan did this inverted commas for the, you know, for the games, especially against maybe the Box, and I do watch pretty much all the All Black games. But Kolbe's just got that highlight reel of once he's in this sort of space, it's over. Yeah. And all the players around the world also say the same thing. Yeah. So Kolbe in at 14 and 15. I mean, D-Mac, I love D-Mac. He's such a fun player to watch. Damian Williams is the best player in the world after the Nations Championship in the conversation as far as I'm concerned.
No, and again, there's unfortunately too much agreement here, but no, D-Mac can, and I think he's such an impact player, coming off the bench as well sometimes. He brings on that energy, but he's been starting recently, but Damian Willemse is no.
Yeah, and we could have talked about Will Jordan moving full back as an option, but Damian Willemse is... Yeah. So there we go. So how many All Blacks have we snuck in here? We've gotten, ironically, interesting, we've got 1 in the back line and 3 in the forwards. So 4 out of 15. Yeah. Let us know where you differ, but I think that's not terrible. There's our combined 15 people.
It'd be interesting to get our sort of New Zealander counterparts, you know, with rugby content, to get them to make a combined team. It'd be fantastic to see where they would think if they were doing combined teams. So shout out, get in there, guys. Either comment or reply to this video, this part, with your selections. Be interesting to know.
Right, we're going to get to the Maul of Shame here. And last week we had a Maul of Fame, and we've got our board, which has now got a bit of things on them. So we are going to be adding last week's candidate, which I believe producer James does have for us. So I've got the card over here. It's got a bit of press stick, and this was last week's moment. I mean, this has definitely been the highlight of the first 3 games so far.
Yeah. It certainly wasn't the scoreline in the Sharks game.
No. All the 4 people that were there.
God. No, it was very good. What did you end up scoring this, Steve?
7.
Was it a 7? I gave it a 7.
We gave them 7s, and I said to the community, please try bring it
Gave
down.
it a 7, yeah.
I can now report, however, that they have not brought it down.
Oh, shit.
And we do, Carly, my poor boy.
So Carly drops down to number 2.
Carly, you're going to have to do something this weekend and get yourself back up onto the top there. So Carly's gone down to number 2, and with that, Haka has gone to the top of the Maul of Fame leaderboard. To have an All Black on the top of our Maul of Fame.
I was going to say, we've got 4 All Blacks on our combined side. We've got an All Black on the top of the Maul of Fame.
The good news is we've also got an All Black on the top of our Maul of Shame.
True, so they cancel each other out.
Correct. So, so Carly needs to go up there, but incredible moment over here, and we've been reliving it a lot. And the next candidate, Jordan, what were you thinking?
Bro, like seriously, dude.
I mean,
For those of you who need a bit of context, one of our fellow content creators out there, Mr. Jordan Bears, decided to put this video out and to basically say, he wants to say that if he was so confident the Bulls were going to cause an upset that he would do whatever the top comment said. The All Blacks admin decided to get involved and said, all right, cool, get our logo tattooed on your arm before the first test, minimum of 5 centimeters. And as you can see, 50 points to 19. Look, Jordan, I'm all for backing the side. I mean, I'm calling a Lions win. Bold. And unfortunately, whilst we appreciate the banter and love the fact that you're getting involved there, you are going onto the Maul of Fame because maybe even by the time this comes out, he will be having an All Blacks tattoo on his arm. Poor behavior.
It's absolutely unacceptable. I mean, we get it. We're part of the machine, part of the content machine. We know we've got to do stuff for engagement and clips. And
but Jordan, not the Bulls game, dude. You had the box, you could have thrown this out.
There's like certain levels of decisions. I forget the story, but it's like some life decisions are hats. You can make it easily, you can take it off. Other life decisions are tattoos. You can't fucking take it off. Like, and a Bulls game, like at least say, yeah, fuck, if the All Blacks win, what is it, 2 out of the 4, I'll get a thing, or 3 out of the 4.
Yeah.
Like make it actually
You had currency,
competitive.
Jordan. You had currency. I mean, I'm all for it, but you had the currency. You had Rusty and the lads. Yeah. The question is, if the Lions beat the All Blacks, will you get a Lions tattoo on the other arm? Stirring it out there, Jordan. I'm sure we'll see Jordan at the test matches. Yeah. So we'll do an update on the tattoo, there we go. We can actually get Jordan when we see you. We need an official photo for where you will go onto our Maul of Shame, and we're gonna need a Maul of Fame moment from you now. We're gonna need a bit of redemption at the moment. So look, game's the game, and I appreciate the hustle, but where's 3, 5, 7? Where are you at on that one?
Jordan, I haven't met you, mate, but for the sheer stupidity to
back the Bulls.
To back the Bulls, and like no disrespect to the Bulls, but jeepers creepers. 7 from me on a Maul of Shame. Like, how do you explain having your biggest rival's tattoo on your arm?
Well, it's quite a story now. Yeah, Jordan, if it was, I like the idea, but to go for the Bulls, that one for me was the bold call. So it's a 7 from me. It's All Blacks full flames braai situation.
Think about that, Jordan. You could be on the same level as the All Blacks braaiing like they did. Not braai, flame roasting whatever they were cooking.
So what do you think? And we'll have to get Jordan's ranking as well on a 3, 5, 7.
But let us know your thoughts, guys. Where is Jordan sitting with this?
And a moment of silence for the poor arm that's going to get tattooed with the All Blacks logo.
And now this is the thing. Do you want it to be a good All Blacks logo? Like, do you want that tattoo?
Yeah, do you want a decent artist, or do you sit there looking at the portfolio going, I can barely read that. Yeah. That one.
Yeah. Do you think, that's a first?
We're going to need some progress picks, Jordan, and then we're going to need a proper pick for the Maul of Shame. Good luck to the week ahead and all the banter that's come towards you, because there's going to be plenty of it. Our hearts go out to the week ahead for you. Right.
Let's lift the moods a bit, because that's quite something.
Yeah, we're going to move into try or lie.
Fantastic.
And for those of you who have enjoyed the segment, and there are quite a few, keep a lookout for these paddles, because we are going to be on the ground at the games coming up, and producer James will be at Ellis Park on Saturday. Steve will be at the Lions game, and we're going to be asking you guys to do some try or lie questions. So producer James, what have you got for us? For those who don't know, very simple. Basically, yes is try, no is lie, true or false kind of thing. Hit us.
Okay, I've got a 4-test series, the only proper way to determine whether the Springboks or the All Blacks are the best team in the world.
Well, lie. Because it could be 2-2.
I think then we have a scrum off after the 4th game.
I'm all for that. And I think a scrum off in terms of the 8 forwards versus the 8 forwards, and then a backline versus a backline.
Perfect. And I back the box.
I back the box as well.
No, I think it's a good question, but I think like sometimes the frustrating thing with the World Cup is that actually not necessarily the best teams, but the best tournament teams. And I could argue those two things are slightly different.
I think the Boks have been guilty of being a very good tournament team, but not a very good team in
Yes,
general
yeah.
between tournaments in many ways, because we've been sort of focused on
No,
tournaments.
exactly. So I think a 4-test series really allows you to put it out there. Is 5 tests? There's that grammar. Is that too much to do that?
5
and
tests
to
is
have it?
hectic.
It's a hectic. So you've got to go 4, and then I think there needs to be, because the last thing we want is what a All Black British Irish Lions draw right to the end of that series. Remember that? That was so.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose to go 1-1 and then get a draw, I mean, that's quite the odds over there.
Yeah.
Look, the fact is that we're going to have 3-1 anyway.
Right, there we go.
To the Boks, for those wondering.
Okay. With the Springboks, All Blacks rivalry is bigger than any Rugby World Cup match bar the final.
100%.
True. Yep. Steve and I both got true.
Yeah, and I like shout out the Six Nations and the World Cups like that. Nothing compares to this.
No, I think from a rivalry, I think from a tournament, Six Nations for me personally.
Oh yeah,
still
yeah.
takes
But
the
in terms of
tournament spot.
individual match, this game.
But like this, the hype around here, the bragging rights.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I've got a bit of World Cup trivia. Mark Andrews,
Yo.
normally a lock, started number 8 in the 1995 World Cup final.
Steve, you know my position on this. I just go opposite whatever you say.
Why'd you go first?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did. I've watched the game back, and now I'm doubting myself.
Steve's gone try, I've gone lie.
I think I want to say it was true.
It was true.
Yeah.
You moved there for the semi-final.
Yes,
final.
yeah. There was I can't remember who got injured. James Smallwood playing with a broken hand, the likes of that. Again, I wasn't born, people. So and the Matt Damon adaptation didn't have that very important
Moment.
narrative
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Mark Andrews
Where was
shifting.
it, Matt
He was
Damon?
disrespected. He wasn't included in Invictus. He should have been there.
He was key.
Okay. Then players would rather win an ugly match than lose after producing a performance of their lives.
Oh, players would rather.
Players would rather win an ugly match than lose.
Steve's gonna
after
try
producing
very
a
quickly.
performance of their lives.
I know. I think when you're at this, I've got to
Yeah.
try as well.
And this is what I was saying. At the end of the day, yes, I mean, I suppose, if you played the best thing and you're kind of short and you can take it home, but at test level matches, it's results based. It's not about how you played, it's not about, it's results based.
No, and I think it's the competitiveness when you get to this level, right? I mean, you've got to hate losing more than you like winning.
Yeah.
And I think these guys do. Yeah.
Steve would kick all his conversions in a rugby match. while
Just,
Wes-
no, stop, stop, that's a
while
lie.
Wes would miss every single one.
Oh, that's also a try.
No, it's still a lie.
It's also a try. It sounds like you're throwing out a gauntlet of a challenge here.
I absolutely am.
Right.
This might be the first challenge we actually do.
There we go. First, yeah, I'm happy to do this one. This one we can do. Right. Well,
we go.
I will make some calls and
Okay.
see if we can get out to a stadium and let's do it properly here.
Yes, at a stadium.
We can't go to a local school. This deserves the crowd. In fact, what we should actually do is this should be the halftime show for the Lions versus All Blacks. So, if you're watching this, guys, it's what we all want to see. It's what we all want to see.
I think, do you know what? I think it would actually be really tough because I'll slot my kicks and then Rassi, after seeing my highlight reel last week and my kicking ability, he's going to have no choice.
Would hybrid you into eighth man and that
choice.
takes the kicks.
100%.
Well, there we go. Okay, so if any stadiums or schools want to host myself and Wes' kicking competition, you give us a shout. I back this boot. This golden foot over here.
Do you know what? I was going to suggest my school that I went to, but I was there the other day and there's no rugby poles, which is very sad. So
Moment of silence for
yeah,
that.
no.
No, that's it. We'll just have to go to Ellis Park.
Yeah, I guess the next logical step.
There we go. Ellis,
very fun.
We'll
But
see you soon.
Definitely. But yeah, guys, look out for these. It's a lot of fun. Producer James has got questions out the bag. We might see Steve with them as well. Get involved, get stuck in, and let us know your thoughts.
Welcome to the next phase. Proudly brought to you by MyPicks and people. It's taste week. So by the time this comes out, you would have probably potentially have missed your chance to have predicted Rassi's team, but everybody has been predicting. But get your score predictions in. And every week you can try and predict Rassi's team. You can try and predict the score. You can rate the players and even join the match. Stats, timelines, create leagues with your mates, create leagues with your bosses, create leagues with your dog, as far as I'm concerned, on mypicks.app, www.mypicks.app. Go and get yourself signed up. Go and join the Mad Cruise League and get all your predictions in. Right, Wes?
So Steve, this is I've enjoyed them all, and the Maul of Fame and Shame and just our contentious chat. But this segment has slowly started to become my favorite segment, and
really, because I think it's very overrated. I think we're at cutting point over here.
I think I was at a slow start, but really coming into my own. So Steve, walk us through what's
Well,
happening.
at the moment, after week 1, we saw producer James get off the blocks quickly. We'd like an audit on this one, though. Mad Community, however, by the way, is operating. Week 2, nobody really saw the Sharks being as bad. I gave them a bit of a chance to score some points, and then that kind of side. So Wes took a big step forward in that second game. Last night, looks like most of us were pretty similar in our predictions. Unfortunately, Pila, we called you in to lift the guests, and the guests are not doing very well. So at the moment, the Mad Community is leading the charge with 21, and we haven't even moved those magnets because the guests are sitting at 10 points. In second place now, Wes is leading the Mad crew at the moment. Producer James not doing a terrible effort either, but Steve's a bit behind.
Yeah, and on that, and so Pila, for your sake and all other sakes, and my sake, because I've had to don this piece of headgear. Steve, since you are the worst from last week that is currently sitting here on camera,
not entirely sure.
I think it's only fair.
We need to bring back. We need to bring in a guest simply so that they can wear.
There you go. Very good. Now it feels better. Look at that. Bocky's excited.
Right, well, test week, Wes, and this is going to be a tough one to protect. I've got an absolute. I was saying the other day, I don't know where the Boks are. I think we've forgotten how good they are. I think a lot of people have forgotten how good they are. And not so much from the Nations Championship, where I thought we were kind of somebody there, not there, yes, scoring 40 points for fun. But I would like to throw us back to the streak we had from beating the All Blacks in New Zealand with that record win, to then a record win against Argentina, to then decimating Europe in November, where we hammered France, hammered Ireland, hammered Italy, hammered, and an Ireland game, for example, the dominance. So I think we've forgotten how good the Boks are, but the question is, are they there yet? So it's an interesting pick this weekend. I've got a score written down, and it's such a cop-out, close with a reasonable high scoring type of thing, but I got to go with it. So we need a first prediction, and I think it's only fair looking at the scoreboard and how things have gone. That producer James behind the camera is going to give us his first prediction, because we keep not getting his prediction, and then I think he goes and does more research and he gets it in. So we have decided we're going to have to lock it down. Producer James.
I'll go 32-24 to the Boks. Let that be a lesson for going first.
If you haven't seen, I can see what Steve's score was. It's exactly the same. And as the laws state, you cannot have the same score. So
I hope that comes back to bite you. So I will adjust my score, because I had 32-24, and he saw it written down as I left, as far as I'm concerned.
it's a sneaky one.
It's a sneaky play. I will go up to Ellis Park, Marnie to Cook, 36 points to 28.
Okay.
That'll be my shift. I think it only gets to a higher point score. I think both teams will concede points.
No, I agree. I am so torn because, as you said in the build-up, we know how good the Boks were in that run, but are they there now? This team that maybe was put together, when was the last time they all played together? Have they had a good enough warm-up against Argentina? Arguably, that's not the team that's going to take the field. So I'm torn between two scores, a higher one and a lower one. I think for the Gears, I'm going to trust my gut. It served me well the last couple of weeks. Boks 38, and I think the All Blacks get to 30.
Well, we're pretty close, and I do think it's going to be close, and I do think 50, 60 points are out there. You look at the All Blacks Ireland game, high scoring, All Blacks France, high scoring. So I think the All Blacks side do have points in them, but I also think, much like the Boks at the moment, we are conceding points. And I think the All Blacks conceding points. I think both teams know how to score. And it's probably going to be about 10-9, knowing our luck. But
6-3.
That's what we've gone with. So we're going pretty high scoring and quite close, and so not too much time for wiggle room. Mad Community, you are operating at the moment, so you need to see if you can keep up that streak. and we will get a guest prediction. We've got a couple of guys lined up for some interviews this week, so before the show comes out, we will have a guest prediction locked in for that. And again, go to MyPicks.app, go and join our Mad Show League, MyPicks.app, and let's see how this all goes. Where's another fun show?
Thanks, Steve.
We might have pissed off some fans along the way, but who knows?
We know we're doing our job.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a prediction from Jordan and see during his tattoo session what what he could be the guest prediction for the weekend. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel every week. Match show out Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Spotify, YouTube, all your different platforms. And yeah, Wes, we'll see you after what we hope is going to be a Bok win.